that flashlight was paranormal. I mean, that's pretty hilarious, right? So that's kind of the goal, is hopefully to get some answers.
Okay, babe.
It's amazing to me when you look at technology
Thanks.
just for what it is in general. Like you said, if you were to bring out just something as simple as a flashlight, you'd probably be considered a wizard back, hundreds of years ago. But when I look at like this technology and I see things, I used to do tool and die, and so we'll build things at like a very small tolerance, and that was considered a secret art at one time. Like they had to pay engineers and stuff to go over to China and Japan to show them how to do it. Right before that, like getting a journeyman, getting somebody to teach you to do it, they were very guarded in their secrets. But and it's still a very complex process. You're talking about trigonometry. You're talking about a very complex process to make that. When I look at these microchips and you see them zoomed in for, so close that it makes a hair follicle look giant. They keep going, and there's these highways and byways of circuits and silicon and crystals. I look at these things and I think there's
Not for long, yes.
as many engineers that I know that are very smart people, considered geniuses on many levels. My father-in-law, like, to me, he's one of the smartest guys I've ever seen. I don't know how you can be much smarter. Genius level IQ. When they look at these things, it's just like it doesn't make sense. And even the people that have created it, they look at them and they think, they know what they've put it together, but they don't really understand why it works. The quantum computing, it just makes me wonder if.
No, I haven't, Phil. I've got to go on live here, but my chat's not going. Hang on.
And you see the idea of this ship moving supposedly closer to the Earth. I don't know how they can tell what that is or whatever. It's hard to even tell what you guys are looking at underneath the Skinwalker Ranch, but they can supposedly see this, major craft and even know what they look like on it. But you see all of these narratives coming together to tell a story of some sort. And the problem is we live in 2025 where you can't trust or believe anything you see. Everything's a fabrication. Like almost all the pictures you see are fake. I mean, my goodness, this is a time of great struggle. And I think it's important to stay open-minded and allow God to just hopefully teach us the truth about all this, because we're not going to find it in this world of lies. And it's really important to, like yourself, when you see things happen, it's going to lead you a certain way. And I really believe this is my faith. I believe God leads all men.
Babe, you busy?
Whether they're able to accept it or not, eventually is going to be one of those decisions they're going to have to live with. But I feel like, for each person, they're going to come to some kind of knowledge of what all of this is.
It's coming up there, but it's not coming up there in time.
The world's narrative is what I'm going to say on that. So I know we've gone not quite an hour, and I really want to have you back to talk about it a little bit more. But I found that the attention span of people is that of a little bit better than a gnat nowadays. And so I would like to end it on a really high note here. Tell people how they can reach you, how they can support what you're doing. And if you want them to reach you, I know you don't want everybody contacting. You're like me. If you gave everybody out your contact, you'd be like overwhelmed with. You're a big deal, Mr. Wilton. So you've got a lot of people already contacting you. But some people will help you out. Check out what you're doing, and I'll put the link in the description as well.
Our big thing is we have a website, skinwalker-ranch.com. And we encourage people to go there and sign up to become one of our insiders. It's a subscription-based platform where the money goes back into.
Oh, you got it going, babe.
Brandon hasn't taken a penny for this effort. Science is very expensive, and more than that,
it's going yet. Yeah.
So for every 1 hour of the
That's a
day,
funny kiss.
we're collecting.
Yeah, we got to fix. Gabe just got to fix, guys.
The number of surveillance cameras out there. Sure, we can. We are employing AI to help us quickly scrub through data. Eric Barr, the principal investigator,
Come on, Lou, hop up.
Unbelievable
Cry. Come on,
software
hop
to
up.
help us comb through this, but nothing beats the human eye. And so our insiders are able to go in and have access to live feeds from the ranch, as well as so much of the data that where they can help us. Our insiders helped us catch so many events that we would have missed otherwise. So that's one way they can help is become part of our insider team. And they can check us out on our website. My wife has a website, melissawinterton.com. She's a meditation expert, is doing amazing things with sound and frequency, and go look her up and check out the cool things she's doing. But and we've got a cruise coming up in January, so we're inviting everybody to come join us in the Caribbean, and we'll get over the Christmas hangover together, January 4th through the 11th. So we're gonna go cruise through the Bermuda Triangle. So people can check that out as
Geez,
well.
that sounds like a good cruise.
Fantastic. That sounds awesome, man. And
Does,
like I said,
yeah.
we'll have you on it hopefully again here whenever you get an opportunity. I know you're very busy, and but I would love to talk to you about more things. There's a lot of stuff I didn't even get a chance to get to, but I know that it'll make for an awesome conversation next time. So I want to thank you, Thomas, for coming on, and I appreciate all of your insights into what we're looking at here. It is, and I would love to one day, this is a dream of mine, and if you can make it happen, I'll give you a big high five, but I'd love to see Skinwalker Ranch. So if that ever can happen, I would give you the biggest high five ever. I know that's a big, I know that's something you really need, but there we go. Thank you so much, man.
Okay, we missed most of that. But hang on, which one will I do? Hang on. Which one will I do? I've got a few there. Yes.
If you disagree, it's like that's a cop out, and I would know.
That is so ridiculous, but that's how they keep you in check. You got to agree with them and go with the flow. Go with.
The small sedan, now in widescreen. The first ever Kia K4.
Boy, oh boy, my friends, we have a number of things to get into in this video. This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. We have apparently a number of predictions that seemingly are related to what happened to Charlie. We're going to get into, in this video, we're going to get into a ton of stuff. We're going to get into some of these Hollywood actors saying the most just repugnant things after what happened. We got Stephen King. We got another guy who was in Star Trek, George Takei. We have also Chris Pratt. Apparently they're coming after Chris Pratt for the most ridiculous thing. We'll get into that as well. But the fact is we have a number of predictions.
Chris Pratt's a Christian.
That seem to be tied to Charlie Kirk. And you'll probably, I think you'll all agree when you see these because it's very, very strangely connected perfectly when you see what they say. We're going to get into that in this video. We also have apparently a lot of people leaving the left. We might get into some of those clips. We have a clip from Andrew Tate and much more. We even have some nurse, and this is a shocking video. I'm going to get into this nurse one. We got one on Sam Altman. We got so much stuff. Let's just get into the main stuff here. We're talking about many will fall in the fall. We talked about before this man who predicted, there's two men who predicted our current president. One was Mark Taylor. The other one's Kim Clement. They all predicted him way before he ever ran. While he was still in Hollywood doing, his show, his TV show, his business TV show. And this was way before he had ever run. One of them even said Kennedy would join him way before him. This guy was the first one, I think, that was well known for predicting him. His name's Mark Taylor. He has an interesting prediction from a year ago that seems to be 100% directly talking about Charlie Kirk. Check this out.
The discernment to know. I could very, maybe I'll put it up there, guys. This is something I shared on social media over a year ago. It was July 5th in 2024, and I put out, as I was waking up this morning, I saw the words, "One will be killed, and the blood pressure of America shall rise. Pray for America. We're about to live in some very perilous times."
And he goes on to say more than that. He even says that it will end up turning into a very big movement that will cause things to happen. Now, what's interesting about that is Kim
Hey,
Clement
man, it's good to see you, bro.
predicted that many will fall in the fall, but he also had a very interesting statement about September that seems to be talking about Charlie Kirk also. So we have this first statement. Well, let me play this again, and then we'll get into what Kim said, and we'll tie this all together.
This,
You go ahead and share this with everyone.
Yep.
And yourself. There you go.
so this is a prophetic word I gave on social media. It's not on my website. People are asking for it on my website. I don't have it on my website. Maybe I'll put it up there, guys. This is something I shared on social media over a year ago. It was July 5th in 2024, and I put out, as I was waking up this morning, I saw the words, "One will be killed, and the blood pressure of America shall rise. Pray for."
Now, what's interesting is he had that prediction given to him on July 5th, one day after July 4th. And Charlie Kirk died one day before September, of course, 11th. Both are two very important days in history, one day apart on the prediction.
I wonder if Charlie was a sacrifice. It's not beyond them, guys.
And one day apart on the event that occurred that was being predicted. Something I just realized that literally when I was just watching this. But it says that the blood pressure, one will be killed and the blood pressure of America will rise. And you can clearly see that's what's going on. And he goes on to say that it will turn into a force or a movement. I don't remember the exact words. I don't know if he goes in and says the rest. He hasn't just like ... here. He doesn't show the whole thing.
For America, for we are about to enter.
He doesn't. I don't think he shows it. Maybe he says it. I don't want to play a bunch of his video to find it. But I remember I read the rest of it, and it said something like that. It will turn into like a movement or momentum or something. And interestingly, something like this will bring forth a sort of a righteous indignation that could lead to something like many falling in the fall. Because the fall is not here yet. It's almost here. Many will fall in the fall, which is what Kim Clement said. And Kim Clement, let me play this clip here, and then I'll show you what he wrote that I think is tied. Actually, let me show you what he wrote first, because I think this is directly tied in. A very strange thing shall happen in September, moving into the fall, where there shall be a great fall. Kim Clement predicted fall of the enemies, fall of kings, fall of princes. I shall do a strange thing in Egypt again. Again, look at America. What's on the back of our dollar bill? We got something from Egypt there, the Great Pyramid, right? Many will fall in the fall. A lot of people, I've went through and shown how I believe that's referring to this year. I've shown how something in April was predicted by Kim Clement, referring to Pope Francis. Then it looks like September, a very...
Yeah, you got to admit, when all's said and done, Kim Clements did say a lot of prophetic stuff that come true. Might go back to finishing him because he liked the Catholics and I didn't like that. That's a bit immature.
Strange thing to happen. No, that's pretty vague. It may not be, you may think, okay, that doesn't really seem to refer to him, but as I've established in previous videos, many will fall in the fall. I believe it is this year because of a number of other things that have shown the markers that it's this year. And if that is this year, and this is referring to the same time frame, it's referring to this September, which we're in right now. So a strange thing will happen in September. This, I would say, is a very strange thing that happened in September. That's my sort of argument on that. That was from October 30th, 2014. He said that. This is from a completely different date. This is June 14th, 2014. So he said this many times. Many shall fall in the fall. He said this numerous times.
That is coming. I stand to protect. Spring, but fall, you are rebelling. Or is it that possibly the Spirit of God will cause many to fall in fall.
So he said that numerous times. So this was an important key prediction of his. Just like when he predicted our current president and said he would have 2 terms, we even had Henry Groover say that he would have a pause between the terms. And I've covered that in the past on video, where
I
he
never
had a
knew
dream
that.
of our president coming to his house, laying down his kingly mantle and his robe, and says, "I'll come back for it later." So, of course, Henry Groover is no longer with us either. He's the guy that predicted that Russia and China would come, of course, against America eventually. Back in the 80s, he had a dream about this, and I believe that is in our future. I don't know when, but not too distant, probably. We have here a very strange thing will happen in September, moving into the fall. And like I said, we're going to get into all this and much more. First of all, I got to mention, we have only a few hours left on the giveaway. Go check it out. Link it. There might be 2 hours when you watch this. Maybe 1 hour, maybe 3 hours. I don't know. Link is in the description for this, my friends. $500 Amazon gift cards, a $500 laptop, 6 different winners, easily a 1 in 100 chance of winning. Very easy to enter. Pause the video. First link in the description. You literally put your name and email in one time, click a bunch of buttons, you get numerous entries. Numerous entries. The more entries you do, the better chances of winning you have, because usually people only do about half of it. Link is in the description. Of course, this book here, The Lost Ways, how your great-grandfather lived without electricity, how to sell or do things around the house as they did in the old days, 100 pages illustrated. You're going to need that book before something happens in the fall, potentially in the fall. We're not even in the fall yet. But something strange did happen in September that made America's blood pressure rise. Charlie Kirk fell. And that will lead to them falling. My friends, I really hope that is the case. That is what I'm thinking is going to happen. Links are in the description for all that. Let's get back to the video. So we have, of course, even Democrats now leaving the party.
The bowel cancer screening test. For your family, get to it.
How good's a weekend? Chaos. How good's that? Big W.
One Pass Big Brands Bonanza is coming 18 September, and it's available to everyone. Shop.
Being intentionally kind of put the nail in the coffin of me being a Democrat. I was slowly moving away from it anyway because I was noticing certain things. But I know I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican either, but I'm not a Democrat. And I just noticed like certain things, like the way that the conversation would be shut down by calling somebody a name or calling somebody a bigot. It's like, okay, and why am I a bigot just because I disagree with you? Like I can disagree with you and still not want anything to work bad for you. I just disagree. It's like, oh, you're personally committing violence against me if you disagree. It's like, that's a cop-out, and I would know.
That is so ridiculous, but that's how they keep you in check. You got to agree with them and go with the flow, go with the crowd.
Yep.
Not have a diverging opinion whatsoever.
Yep.
And honestly, people should just realize that this is wrong. This is flat out wrong. This guy, I think this guy has a good message here. Check this out.
Who's got to go to bed tonight and wonder why they'll never see their daddy again. A wife that's got to grieve her husband. Parents that have to bury their son. Every one of y'all in the comment section just sound like inhuman pieces of shit. And honestly, here's the thing. This is why I don't fault the Democratic Party. Because some of them have human decency. Some of them can speak out and say, hey, we don't agree with this. Hey, no matter what we believe, that's not fair for this to happen. Prayers for his family. Because it is not fair to blanket you being a shitty, I use human very loosely.
So, of course, he's saying it seems like there's a large percentage. I don't know what the percentage is. Social media can throw it off. Maybe most people are not like this. I'm guessing most liberals or Democrats are not.
I'm doing okay, boss.
Laughing and enjoying the fact that he's gone. But are actually, percentage are enjoying this, think it's funny. That is disgusting. And it should not be tolerated. And this is what's making people's blood boil, is how his memory is being tarnished by people just so self-centered. You know what I mean? So self-centered. Only don't even care about the fact that he had a family or a wife or children.
Yeah.
And some are actually wondering if this is going to be a trend. And really, I don't. So let's just play this
Yeah, Vars, I'm going okay. No sweat here.
one first, and then I'll get into the other stuff.
How about you, Phil? How you been, mate?
Economic policy. This is a complete different world.
The list they're coming for the rest of us. What do you mean by that?
We no longer live in any kind of civilized political discourse. The left and the right are not arguing about interest rates or economic policy. This is a complete different worldview. These people lack spirits and souls, and they believe that anybody who disagrees with them or says a word counter to their narrative deserves a bullet in the neck. This is no longer.
So this is not, of course, everyone, though. And, of course, he's being a little bit hyperbolic, I believe. The fact is, though, there are some elements here that seem to have such a different paradigm that they don't even respect human life. And they think it's okay to do stuff like this. And we have seen a pattern. We saw the Catholic Church. We saw what happened with Charlie and others. Actually, there's been multiple at this point. They all seem to be from the same realm, the same group of thinking. We're talking, of course, Antifa in this case, but they all seem to be of that ilk.
Vars, that's a strange thing to say.
Or that realm.
I'm supposed to put it on my legs, but I'm very lazy.
And, you know, that doesn't mean every certain person that's in that group is that way. Of course not. But it is very strange how it seems to be getting worse. And I think Andrew Tate is right that in some respects, I think he's onto it, but I think he's been a little bit overboard with it. But again, it's better to be cautious than not cautious, right? So, what is it? Pray for the best, prepare for the worst kind of attitude. Maybe is the right approach with this. Might be wise to beef up security for some of these guys. 100%. So you got that going on. You have a number of Hollywood people, and this is what I'm talking about. Is it just because they're big names and they like to say crazy stuff? Or is it this is really the mindset of too many people? Right? You have George Takei from the original Star Trek. I used to watch the original Star Trek. So it's really disappointing to see people like him say things like this. I hope Charlie recovers quickly. Then, like James Brady, uses his megaphone to help advocate for common sense limits on fire of force arms. Completely callous comment. Completely jaded. I mean, it's really disgusting when they say things like this, not even thinking about who it might hurt. You had Stephen King apparently saying multiple things. He said something in that realm like George did there, but he said actually about 3 different things that got him in trouble. No surprise. Stephen King's well known for getting himself in trouble saying stuff. But this one apparently is the one that got him the most trouble. Millions of Americans are requesting for Charlie's estate to sue Hollywood author Stephen King over his defamatory statement. Here, Stephen King's saying in response regarding Charlie, he advocated for stoning, of course, gays, to death. Just saying. No, he didn't. He never advocated for that. I just saw a clip of a gay conservative student asking him a question about being part of TPUSA. And Charlie's like, yeah, I mean, we have open arms. You agree with us on all these different issues? You're welcome to our group. You can be gay if you want. You can be part of our group. You never said anything like this. So, of course, now apparently Stephen King realized how bad he stepped in it, and has apologized for saying this. And then he gave up some weird reason why he said it, which makes no sense. What he actually demonstrated was how some people cherry pick passages. I don't know what is he trying to say that he was cherry picking a passage to, like, I don't know what he's trying to say there. It's ridiculous what he's saying. John Rich here, though, said in response, Charlie would have prayed for you to give your life to Jesus, even with the vile things you've said about him. 100% I agree with that. That is, I believe, what Charlie would do. That's what real Christians do, Stephen. Open your Bible, start reading it right now.
No, it's the good videos I play. I check them out first and see how they're going to go and see if they're going to fit. I've been pretty good so far. There's not many I sacked. But if they're blasphemous, I'll sack them. You know that.
With the story of Stephen, your namesake, in Acts 7:59. That's interesting. Because Stephen in Acts was, of course, stoned.
Oh.
And it was for simply telling the truth, and the people couldn't handle it.
How come they could stone Peter to death, but they couldn't stone Christ? There's something we don't understand there.
Test drive today.
Qantas points earning credit cards are more than just credit. Some come with up to...
So I stopped drinking when I got out of hospital last time. And before that, I only had a few days anyway. So the drinking's already been given up. I go without grog, same as I went without drugs when I went to jail. I just treat it like that. So I'll have no trouble beating it.
For 130,000 bonus points or no or low annual fee.
Plants are great, but they're hard. So hard. Lucky for you, there's a group of people.
Simply telling the truth. Telling the truth of some historical events in history, just running through some historical events, saying, this is what happened, this is what happened. He's talking to a bunch of people, and he's just straight up spitting facts. Stephen was.
Yeah, Phil. I think Peter getting crucified upside down was a warning to what the Catholics will do with his name and all that. That's what I think that means.
And they got so cut to the heart, they went crazy and, took him out. That's what happened to Stephen. Very similar, actually, in respect to Charlie, in some respects. Similar kind of story, actually. So, of course, at any rate, you see what Stephen King did there. Absolutely disgusting. But we did have Chris Pratt say something good, which you would expect. He's a Christian himself, praying for Charlie Kirk right now, for his wife and children, for our country. We need God's grace. God help us. And apparently people are trying to cancel him over saying that. Some libs, apparently, or whoever, were trying to get him canceled from Marvel for simply saying what I read to you. It's the most insane stuff. Anyway, you get the idea. So we have that. Of course, now they've apparently caught the man who did it. His name's Tyler. If you didn't know already, I'm sure a lot of you already know. He clearly was in that type of realm. I already mentioned. He was in Antifa. And, of course, I don't believe that he was alone and did it himself only. Because we had all these publications coming out a day beforehand reporting it. New York Times, LA Times, timestamp September 9th about the story a day before it happened. You had a book published a day before it happened. How did they know a day beforehand? I don't think he was alone. You had, of course, yeah, exactly.
So that's my point. Was he ritually sacrificed? I wonder if he was.
The one who went after our president, and also Charlie Kirk's. Both of the people that went after, both of them had zero digital footprint. They had no social media presence. Does that even make any sense? This guy, Tyler, had no social media footprint either, apparently. And he's just did it alone. a lone person. I don't believe it at all. I think there was more. I think that this was coordinated. This is my theory on it. Of course, now they're doing lockdowns on various campuses. Not a result of this, because they got calls of people saying they're going to do more stuff. We had this nurse and how disgusted she was about some of her fellow nurses rejoicing that Charlie's gone. This is, I've seen, I was just on like a Reddit or something. I wasn't even Reddit. It was just some random forums. I was like going on Google and doing searches about hospitals. It had nothing to do with these topics. It was just some random thing I was looking at. I can't remember what it was about. And I kept seeing comments like, yeah, our nurses were laughing at us. I saw a bunch of weird comments like this. I'm like, what? Like, you go into a hospital, you're sick, you have something wrong with you, and they're laughing at you. They're making fun of you. I covered a story like a couple days ago of some people in a hospital mocking, showing like stains from patients and making jokes and posting it on social media. Now, apparently, we have nurses laughing, thinking it's funny, mocking that Charlie's gone. What the hell?
As a medical professional, I treat everyone,
Come here.
life, with the most respect, regardless of your beliefs, regardless of your background. You are a human life first. And that is how I treat all of my patients, and that is how we should treat everyone. So the fact that medical professionals that are making medical decisions for people are mocking and making fun of the death of an innocent man, a father, a husband, just because
Disgusting.
you don't agree with their political beliefs is appalling. It is an outrage.
So what's happened to our country, man? I even had a dream last night about this. I had this dream. It wasn't about this specifically, but it was very, very strange. And essentially, it was showing the worst side of humanity. I was seeing the absolute worst side of humanity. I can't even say all the stuff I saw in the dream. I'll do it on my website because it was so ridiculous. There was one scene in the dream. It was like the third scene. I can tell you that part. Okay, I'm walking down the hall. I'm looking for a restroom, and I go to a room, and it's not a restroom, but I turn the light on. I'm like, oh, that's not a restroom. But the light's like very slowly turning on. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I walk past that hall, that room, and keep walking. I'm like, oh, let me go look in that room. So I go back, and I look in that room, and the light finally came on after 10 seconds or something. I go in there, and there's this old lady. She's sitting on a couch, like a small sofa couch. Actually, a lot like this one right here. Not the same, but same size about. And there's like this table in front of her, and she's just like talking to herself. The table's right here, and she's just talking to herself. Just talking, and she was doing it in the dark. I'm like, what the hell? Like, someone just stuffed her in this room and just shut off the light. Like, that's messed up. She's extremely old. She's like 90, or I don't know how old she is. And I saw her talking to herself, and then I'm like, I go, hey, hi, how you doing? I'm like, I started trying to talk to her, and then she looked up at me, and then like one side of her face, like you could tell something was growing on her face. I don't know what was going on, but her skin was covering all over her eye, and then this eye was partially covering, but you could still see a little bit. And she's like, oh, hey, hi, how are you doing? And started talking to me. I'm like, who the hell would throw an old woman in a room in the night with the lights off and just leave her there like that? I was just like, that's so nuts. But that was actually one of the examples in my dream. But there was actually three. The other two were even more crazy. But it just showed me how society is completely selfish, completely backwards, and up is down, left is right kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of what's happened. I think that's what God was trying to say through the dream to me, is that our society is backwards now. It's very, very jaded and just selfish and completely lost its connection with reality at this point. How to love someone, how to treat someone with respect, all that kind of stuff. And this is what's causing the blood to boil in America. Now people are standing up. You have this guy who never makes anything on social media. And he says that he's just a guy usually scared to say things because he worries about people, what they'll think of him, worried about missing out on opportunities because of an online footprint. The average Joe has got a job, doesn't want to get fired from it. Yesterday, a man died, presumably because he believed in the same things I believe in. I'm a conservative. More importantly, I'm a Christian. So he makes this video and puts it on social media, saying, hey, look, I'm going to make my voice known.
online presence. And the reason for that is because I am scared to post things that I believe or really care about because I worry about what people think. And worry about missing out on opportunities because of an online vote. Yesterday, a man died, presumably because he believed the same things that I believe in. I am a conservative, and more importantly, I'm a Christian.
Amen.
I believe wholeheartedly that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior.
Amen, mate.
He died for our sins and rose again, and that He is God.
Amen.
I know that in the grand scheme of things, I don't really matter. No one knows or even cares who I am. But if there's even one person who sees this and gains the courage to speak up themselves, that's why I'm making this.
Now, of course, it's faith in Christ that saves you. Faith meaning a living faith, not a dead faith. Faith in commitment to Jesus Christ being on his death on the cross for payment of sin. That is actually the salvation message. We have, of course, here Sam Altman. This is such a bizarre clip. I just want to play it really quick before. And actually, let me show you this first. This is some weird stuff going on in the sky. Let me just show you this first. Whoa! What the hell? What's going on, man? This is a Montana flight. I don't know if there's some copyright on that music. What in the world's going on there? Like usual, some weird stuff. But we have this interview. You guys should go check this out. It just really, the way they were interacting is so bizarre. It's like, when you got a criminal in front of you and you're trying to catch the criminal and you're trying to be very careful in how you try to catch up and they're very crafty back. That's basically what it feels like. Actually, I'm not going to play it because of all the stuff said in, but you guys should just go check out that clip. It's so bizarre. Just type in this on X and you'll see it. It's just, maybe I'll do it on another video. Anyway, that's my video. I was kind of wondering what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.
Trying to find something to watch. Hang on, guys.
Oh my God, you're Joe Chapman.
You just charged.
I'm a big fan. I was literally just watching you on.
As they were in the old days. They actually had comedy. That's a recent in the UK about obviously the Online Safety Act, where they were basically arresting people for simply having an opinion. Clearly, Charlie Kirk, they're trying to silence him for having an opinion. The exact same message. This obviously resonates with the people in Britain. You can see how many of them are out in the streets. They've been protesting for, I think, a couple weeks at this point already because of their own government trying to, of course, stop them from saying their opinions, flying a flag, things of that nature, things that are nationalistic, right? Battle cry. It's a battle cry now. It's a battle cry. He is now the symbol of this resistance to what we've been seeing in our world over the last few years, where the West has basically become something of a shadow of itself. No longer are you seeing people just as they were in the old days. He actually had common decency, actually cared about other people. When someone died, even if they didn't agree with him, you would, obviously if you have respect towards that person that died, you wouldn't wish ill will on their family, but that's not what we're seeing today, are we? We're seeing Hassan Piker calling for more people to be, of course, gutted that are conservative. Absolutely insane. How does this guy still have his platform on all these different websites? Hassan Piker, this guy right here, if you've ever seen him before, he's Cenk Uyghur's, I think, nephew or something.
Sick and tired.
He's incited violence so many times from his followers. You need to be blanking these. Oh my goodness, I can't even say these things. Shanking. Look at this. This is the type of people that have instigated this kind of action that we saw against Charlie Kirk. These people should be held accountable. This guy should be held 100% accountable. He should not have a platform whatsoever. Matter of fact, I think he should be a lot more than that. Perhaps be put away for a while. Behind bars. Sounds like a good idea to me. This guy clearly is instigating violence. I thought that was a crime. He's got a massive platform and he does this. I remember a YouTuber getting arrested for doing something like this. Like, what was it? Like, I think it was like 10 years ago. It was a long time ago. Why is this guy still doing it? How is he able to just still do this? Absolutely insane. You have here the last person that asked a question of Charlie Kirk. This guy was on the left. He was clearly diametrically opposed to what Charlie Kirk thought on certain topics. And apparently he's now changed his mind. He apparently realizes just how wrong he was. He was actually trying to make an argument against trans that are, doing violence, saying that this is not really a real thing. And then literally, as he's asking this question and Charlie's responding, that's when it happened. And now we're learning the person who did this was in a trans relationship. I'll get into that in a minute, but first let me play this clip from the last guy who had talked to him and asked him a question.
It's been a rough 24 hours. This last person to talk to Charlie Kirk, here's maybe a better vantage point. So I'll give you some background. I made a video maybe about a week or two ago, I think. I'll play clips so it's clear about what's going on.
Oh my God. So Charlie Kirk just said that the suspected Minneapolis school shooter was trans. First Nashville, now this. How many times makes a trend? Probably the only way to do this is to have an ungodly amount of time to parse through all of the 6,000 mass shootings that have ever happened in the history of America. I mean, Charlie's counting on the fact that only a psycho would do all that. Trans people are surprisingly and extremely nonviolent. Now, while I was scrolling Charlie Kirk's video, I noticed that he was touring America, and he was touring universities specifically. And one of these caught my eye because one of these is the university I'm currently going to.
Obviously, that university was UVU, where I currently go to school, and I'm getting a degree in mathematics there. I'm not going to show a video of what happened, mostly because I can barely watch it. But yeah, here's what I asked. I asked, how many transgender Americans have been mass shootings in the last 10 years? Too many. They said the number's 5. Counting or non-counting gang violence. Pop is heard. Shout out to CNN for fact checking me and saying right. First off, you sick fucking psychos that think this is the answer. It's not. I don't know what else to say. It's fucking not. It's awful, and a father doesn't have his kids anymore. Charlie had 2 kids and a wife. And not to make this about me, but I have 2 kids and a wife. And if my 1-year-old boy, his 1-year-old boy, grew up without memories of his dad, it's a tragedy.
He can
And I know
100% relate.
it's hard to grapple with. And I'm part of a community that's struggling to grapple with it right now. And people have obviously pointed to the irony that the point
he was trying to make the point that it's so few people that are trans that have done this in the past. Of the 6,000, he says there were 6,000, but actually I don't think that's actually accurate. I think he's probably including gang violence or something in there. When you narrow it down to the actual amounts, I think it's maybe in 100 or something. I'm not quite sure, but the latest ones have all been this. We're talking from the Rainbow, and right when he's asking the question and responding, it happened again. The exact same thing. This guy was in a trans relationship. So the man pretending, of course, to be, a woman is reportedly cooperating fully with the FBI at this point. So apparently he was in a relationship with one. And
so Robbo's dropping by later.
The Bricky.
Isn't he a mountain climber?
He's the real Iron Man.
He drives a BT-50, right?
Yeah.
Over 16,000 New South Wales police.
Oh, bloody
And
hell.
police vehicles can detect drivers speeding anywhere, anytime. Speeding? You can stop it or cop it.
Don't miss Karate Kid Legend. Watch it now.
Karate Kid Legends.
Before you move in, move your internet to belong. Fewer frills means lower bills. And right now,
I mean, it's really sad, of course, but that guy realizes now how wrong he was. We also now learned that there's a possible accomplice. And I said both these things. I said the guy I thought he was trans, but apparently, well, no, he isn't. His boyfriend is or whatever. But he's clearly in that realm. And I said he didn't do it alone. And it was very obvious to me. And now we're starting to learn, yeah, it wasn't alone. Although, for the last couple of days, the mainstream has been saying, no, it's a sole person. Only one person did it. And you go to all the AIs, Google AI, all of them. No, it's just one. And now we're starting to learn, no, actually, I was right. Footage emerges of suspicious character. So I think I honestly think that it was much more than just a couple of accomplices. I think it was someone way up at the top that might have been, of course, behind this. This is my theory because we have two mainstream outlets that put out the story a day in advance, which we've seen that before. It's not the first time. I've been on YouTube for over a decade. I covered things like this in the past a decade ago. And we had similar things happen where they put the story out a day in advance because they knew it was going to happen. That's kind of weird, but it's happened more than once. I've seen it multiple times. So that's usually an indication that there's something bigger going on here. You had, of course, also the Dodgers, Blake Trinan wears custom hat honoring Charlie Kirk. Apparently puts his name on the side of his hat, as you can see there. So this is a story that just came out as well. But the fact is, we also had his wife. I believe this was last night, came on live and spoke about the entire thing. And I wanted to play one section. Actually, maybe I'll back it up a little bit and then you'll see what I'm saying.
Carl Jung.
It's very obvious that he had a very strong family. His wife clearly loved him. He clearly loved her. And this is this is a really good family. You can just tell. It's super obvious.
The worldwide outpouring of love for my husband. I've heard the testimonies from people. My husband inspired to get married. to start families, to seek out a
Come on,
relationship
up.
with God. It's the most
Up, up.
important,
Come on.
most important one.
Oh, jump up and meet me halfway, Moo.
As they were in the old days.
Oh, man, you messed it up, Moo.
The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done.
Look at those eyes, man.
They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love. They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country.
Dude, man, she's obviously full of conviction. You can tell she's 100% authentic Christian. It's like super obvious. Look at those eyes, man. Oh my goodness. You can tell how angry she's pretty pissed off. Really pissed off, actually. Extremely pissed off. Yeah. So you could see sort of the message that she was giving. Very, very heartfelt. Very, very, you can just tell she's a very strong Christian too. It's like super obvious. At any rate, so you got that as well. You have now a number of Democrats leaving the party. People are leaving because they're seeing what is happening. How could there people that I'm in the same party with be so callous, so evil towards this family, cheering on this? We're seeing people getting fired for doing this as well.
Of me being a Democrat, I was slowly moving away from it anyway because I was noticing certain things. But I know I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican either, but I'm not a Democrat. And I just noticed like certain things, like the way that the conversation would be shut down by calling somebody a name or calling somebody a bigot. It's like, okay, and why am I a bigot just because I disagree with you? Like I can disagree with you and still not want anything work bad for you. I just disagree. It's like, oh, you're personally committing violence against me if you, disagree. It's like, that's a cop-out. And I would notice certain things like that. I would notice that I was being intentionally angered every 4 years so that I would go out and vote. It would be a new token thing to like get behind.
Yes, exactly. I noticed that a long time ago. Super obvious. You had, of course, Black Lives Matter as well. That obviously is a factor in that respect, particularly. But yeah, so you have that as well. So you have now, I was thinking this is going to be a very, very big thing. You could feel a lot of sort of like blood boiling. People are really just, this is basically the catalyst for change in our world. You're seeing it in the UK, 1 million people marching. He is now the symbol of freedom. From what I can tell, I mean, literally, this is what's happening. He is essentially the new, well, he's the actual legitimate version of the George, of course, Floyd thing. I don't think he was ever legitimate as an emblem because of his history, and the media just manufactured him. This is not manufactured. This is organic, and this is legit. This is an actual real movement, and he is an emblem of it now, which I would have never predicted something like this. Who would? I mean, it's just crazy, but this is how things work sometimes, It's like the straw that broke the camel's back, right? I mean, it's kind of like that. Anyway, we're going to get into actually more. We have a number of people in Hollywood now getting in trouble over stuff they've said. We have some other interesting updates on this whole thing. First of all, I'm going to mention food supply, 25-year shelf life. Link is in the description. 3 months worth, and actually 4 months worth now because it comes with an extra month. $6.97, 4 months of food. Link is in the description. This book here, The Lost Ways, How Your Great-Great-Grandfather Lived Without Electricity, How to Build a Cellar, Do Things Around a House as they did in the old days. Hundreds of pages illustrated. You're going to definitely need that before the power goes out. we have a number of predictions that came true when Charlie Kirk died. We're starting to see that these predictions were about him. One of them was from Mark Taylor. And all those things are linked below, by the way. I have a clip of Mark Taylor and Kim Clement with a strange prediction, both of them, that seemingly points to Charlie Kirk and some of what's been happening after in the last 2 days. All right. Check this out. This was from July 5th, 2024. Mark Taylor is the guy in the red shirt there. He's the one who predicted our current president way back in I think 2008 or 9 or something. I don't know. He predicted he would become president, our current president, way back in 2008. We also had Kim Clement predict he would become president as well, way back in 2009. Both of them did, both these guys. And they both seem to have predictions that seem to point to Charlie Kirk as well.
BHP is proud to continue its 16-year partnership with the World Flying Doctor Service, because life-saving care should reach even the most remote communities. BHP, supporting Australian communities for 140 years.
Space is Tasman's secret weapon, with class-conquering head and shoulder room up front. A work.
This one's from a year ago, July 5th, 2024. As I was waking up in the morning, I saw the words, "One will be killed, and the blood pressure of America shall rise. Pray for America, for we are about to enter into some perilous times." Very perilous times. And I don't remember the exact words after that, but I can tell you kind of what it said. He said after this that it would become sort of like a movement or momentum, and that his death would lead to a lot of changes. And I think this is obviously talking about Charlie Kirk. The blood pressure of America did rise after it happened. And clearly there is a momentum behind this, more so than anything else we've seen of any time recent. So I think that 100% is talking about it.
Maybe.
We also had Kim Clement as well say something rather curious. You remember I mentioned about this. Many will fall in the fall. Apparently he said this multiple times in different broadcasts. This one here is June 14th, 2014. He said many shall fall in the fall. In this one, so I'm going to back it up.
The Spirit of God will cause many to fall in fall.
That's not the only time he ever said that. He actually said it in October. He said it multiple times back in 2014, 11 years ago. He said this one right here on, I think it was October 30th, 2014. A very strange thing shall happen in September, moving into the fall, where there shall be a great fall. Again, as I've documented in previous videos, I believe this year is the year where many will fall in the fall. We've shown evidence of this. We talked about how the Pope was predicted to be something that happened in April from Kim Clement, which directly seems to be related to the Pope. I did a video on that way back when. There's also other indications that we are in the year when the elite will, of course, fall. And if this is the year when they fall, then that would mean that this right here, the statement is talking about this September, which we're in right now. A very strange thing shall happen in September, moving into the fall. I would say that what just happened is a very strange thing, because his death has led to all of what you're seeing going on right now. 1 million people marching in the UK, a completely different country. You got everyone talking about this. You see sort of like people's eyes are being opened because of this. Clearly, this is a much larger thing than people realize. And so you got those two clips. You also have another person. And by the way, I should point this out. When Mark Taylor said his prediction, it was on July 5th, one day after July 4th. Also, Charlie Kirk died one day before September, of course, 11th. Both of these days are important markers in history. His prophecy was a day before an important event or important date in history. and Charlie Kirk's death was a day before an important date in history. So you got those two. You also have Joseph Z. Apparently, he also predicted a leader or shepherd will be struck. And then he says, I don't remember exactly what he said. Let's see if we have it here. Let's see.
2022, and I was on a live broadcast and I shared it. And it was a vision of a shepherd that would be struck. And when the shepherd fell, the plan of darkness is that the sheep would scatter. But instead of that, the sheep came together. And when they came together, they picked up the mantle of the fallen leader. And this picking up of the mantle accumulated into a roar. And
this is actually very similar to what Mark Taylor said, because his was about, and he doesn't show the entire thing here. He has ... The ... sounds a lot like what Joseph just said there. When I read it, it sounded very similar. So they're both saying very similar things in that respect, right? This guy is also known for giving prophecies and things. So there's actually multiple people like this, but these three I know about quite well. So you see kind of what's happening around us. You also have apparently a number of people in Hollywood saying very bad, disgusting things about Charlie Kirk, his family, George Takei from Star Trek, the original Star Trek, completely callously says, I hope Charlie Kirk recovers quickly then, like James Brady uses his megaphone to help advocate for common sense limits on, of course, firearms. This is what he says. Obviously completely callous the way he said it as well. You had Stephen King apparently say multiple things that were really inflammatory, mean. This is the one I think that apparently got him in the most trouble, saying about Charlie Kirk, saying he had advocated stoning, of course, gays, to death, just saying, this is what he said. He never did advocate for that. That's absolutely insane. He never advocated for that. So crazy. He actually invited and welcomed gays into the movement itself, right? Even though he doesn't agree with their lifestyle. Of course, Stephen King, people were saying that they should actually sue him for defamation over this. That's what a lot of people were saying about Stephen King. Apparently, Stephen King came out and apologized for saying that. And he says some ridiculous, I don't even know what he's trying to get out of here. He says, what he actually demonstrated was how some people cherry pick biblical passages. Like I don't know what he's trying to say. He's trying to say that he cherry picked one so that he was making an example. It doesn't even make sense what he's saying, basically. So you got that. You have, of course, actually a number of other people as well saying things. In Hollywood, I saw a lot of them actually. I had another one here. Just trying to look up real quick. I saw a number of social media personalities saying things that are really disgusting as well. I really don't understand it, man. We saw CNN doing it. We saw MSNBC do it. One guy got fired from MSNBC for doing it. And this is disgusting as well. So I saw this. Let me just get into this. Some are trying to claim it's fake. It never happened. Oh, it was just CGI. In reality, what's going on here in this picture, his ring is here on this finger, his marriage finger, and then it moves to this finger. It doesn't actually move. It actually got broke and it was falling off. It was in the process of falling off. And they just happened to take the snapshot while it was falling off and it was next to the other finger. It continued to fall because it got broke. How did it get broke? The bullet hit his armor and shattered, and part of it went into, of course, his neck. The other part hit his ring, which is really weird. Really weird. So the bullet actually fractured, and part went up and part went sideways. One hit his ring, and the other one hit, of course, his neck, which is really just, this is so weird, But that's what actually happened. It was not faked. And even one guy that I used to hang out with here on YouTube, he was saying this stuff. I don't understand why they always go this direction. A call for an uprising, if you remember that guy. I haven't talked to him in years at this point. Sort of. I mean, I did talk to him, I think, a year ago or a year and a half. I sent him an email. It was like at least a year ago. And he wrote me back. But, I mean, I don't keep in touch with him anymore, really. At any rate, so you got all these different stories. It's really kind of bizarre, this whole thing. I think it's going to turn into something much larger. And I think this is going to lead into the fall. It's going to be the motivation for people to get some justice with all these people apparently running our world amok at the top. We need to, of course, remove them. We're already seeing our current president saying he's going to go after, of course, Soros, and actually references what happened to Charlie Kirk as part of the reason. So this is motivation to fix everything.
Wow.
And it's really sad, of course, that it happened.
So Soros was behind it. Wow, that's heavy.
But you've seen how bad our world has become at this point. At any rate, that's my video. I'm kind of wondering what some of you guys think about all this. Let me know in the comments as well, and thanks for watching.
It's time.
Get ready
Okay, I'll take it back because we've got to hang up, guys.
for a legendary movie night.
LOL.
It will leave you cheering.
You might actually survive a fight or two.
Karate Kid Legends.
I thought it got a protein hack on my protein. It's back.
For real? Here's a hack. Kellogg's Nutri-Grain High Protein Crunch has 12.7 grams of protein. For real? For real?
Real nourishment for real.
It's time for Lefty's Losing It. Let's start with this disgusting display by Lefty losers of what should have been a somber moment as Vice President J.D. Vance and Usha Vance attended the Annunciation Catholic Church in Minneapolis in remembrance of the victims of last week's shooting.